Time now for our rants and raves of the week, starting with Dan Kennedy.
I have a rave for a couple of organizations called Family Story and Color of Change. They worked with the University of Illinois to do a study on how a wide variety of media organizations cover issues such as welfare families, poverty. And what they found was unsurprising. They looked at over 800 stories, network news, New York Times, Washington Post, and found out that disproportionately black families are portrayed as welfare families, as living in poverty. I could do statistics, but I don't want to do statistics. I'll do one. 59% of the time, stories about poor families featured black families, even though only 27% of families below the poverty line are black. This leads to stereotypes and all kinds of problems, and good for them for pointing it out.
All right. Dan Lothian.
Well, I'm going to rant against my former colleague at CNN, Randi Kaye. The New Year's Eve celebration, she was live out on a pot bus in Denver, Colorado. And you see some of the video here, getting that secondhand smoke. But, you know, I think that there are times when you want to take reporter involvement right to the edge so that your audience can get a full understanding of what the story's about. And I think there are times when you go over that line, over that edge. And I think she crossed the line there. Not just because she was inside that bus with pot and that she touched a joint and passed it along and she wasn't actually smoking it directly. But if you notice her earrings, she had pot plants, and that takes it to the point of I almost agree with everything. This whole week, this is very controversial, but I'm agreeing with it because I have these earrings. I mean, what if I was doing a gun debate and all of a sudden I had earrings? Well, you would like that if I had earrings, but
a giant Glock.
a giant Glock hanging from my ear. I mean, it takes away some of the credibility. And in this day and age where next time she's going to be reporting on this, as everybody is over the coming months, someone's going to grab a still frame of that and put it up and say, can you believe anything she says? Because we know where she's coming from.
She's a good reporter, actually.
She's a very good reporter, and I thought that, is someone else doing this, maybe they could get away with it. She does a lot of serious news, and I had a problem with her going over the line.
I just feel bad about your earlobe now, like all that big Glock
that big
weighing
Glock.
It down.
Yeah, that's right.
We're going to get one. All right, Callie.
I am raving for PBS NewsHour. They've hired Yamiche Alcindor, who is a New York Times reporter covering Donald Trump and Bernie Sanders on the campaign trail. She did a fantastic job. Her analysis is fabulous whenever you see her off the reporting trail, but her reporting has been very solidly strong, and she had some issues being out there on the campaign trail while covering Trump, I will say, as a person of color. It's a full circle moment because Gwen Ifill was her mentor, and she has much credited her with that, and so now she gets to go to the place.
So she's doing reporting, not just analysis.
Right. Now, on for the NewsHour, she will be the White House correspondent.
Oh, wow.
So it's a big deal for her, and it's great.
That's great. Josh.
I know you like us to have very clear rants or raves,
right.
but maybe
You can't
think
decide.
of this as the world's tiniest little rave for ABC News. Brian Ross, their investigative reporter, we've talked about him in the past on this program, someone who has a history of getting some really big stories and also making some really big mistakes. He was suspended a few weeks ago for messing up when the Michael Flynn situation came forward, erroneously reporting that the campaign period of the Trump the pre-presidential period was a time when the criminal activity was allegedly happening. He was suspended, and ABC had to figure out, what are we going to do with this guy? He has been trouble for a long time. He's made a lot of mistakes, but they apparently did not want to fire him, which I think would have been a perfectly legitimate response. Instead, they decided and announced today that they are going to be bring him back, but putting him on a long-term documentary unit that will not be doing breaking news, that will not be part of the newsroom. Hopefully, this might be something that would lead to these further errors being avoided. But as I said, it's the world's tiniest rave because he probably shouldn't be there in the first place.
They had some knee-jerk reactions to sexual harassment. I'm not saying those people didn't deserve to be booted out, but, journalism is the calling. So it's one thing to be booting you out for sexual harassment, but you make those kind of mistakes in journalism, you still have your job.
Repeatedly, over and over again.
Yeah.
All right. Well, finally tonight, I'd like to go all the way in on this one. I have a rave for ESPN's Seth Wickersham, who wrote that, tome about the relationship between Bob Kraft, Tom Brady, and Bill Belichick, which incredibly well sourced, a lot of detail in it, and why this could be the end of the sort of a familial dynasty between the three of those because of both Brady's relationship with Alex Guerrero and the way Jimmy Garoppolo got booted out and sent off to the San Francisco 49ers. It all rang true to me. I mean, a lot of people are calling it a hit job. I didn't read it that way. I thought it was quite nuanced with a lot of detail, a lot of conversations. It didn't appear to be recreated. He quoted players and insiders at the Patriots extensively. It was a long read. The Globe did a nice summary of it, too, but I thought it was really well done.
It was. I read it this morning, and I'm not even much of a football fan, and it was very interesting.
Well, that's because this had nothing to do with football.
Right. That's right. The human drama.
Come on, Callie, you got to get into it.
I'm not a Tom Brady fan, but I was discussing it with the guys in the cafeteria this morning.
There you go. So you like it too.
So I was like, wow, this is interesting.